All right, man. All right. Yes, indeed, man. Welcome back to another episode of the Winners Diet Show. I am your host, Mac Solomon, aka Project Mac. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and tapping in as always. Oh, I'm tripping, y'all. I didn't forgot my whole mic. God damn. Hold on. I'm tripping, bro. I didn't start the show off without the mic. I am tweaking. Hey, it's been a long ass day, so you guys gotta forgive me on that. That's crazy. But damn. Anyway, man, welcome back, man, to another episode of the Winners Diet Show. I'm your host, Mac Solomon, aka Project Mac. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and tapping in as always. Damn, man, I done forgot my whole mic, bro. That's crazy. This show started off as a blunder, man. The irony. But anyway, man, before we get into today's show, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below anything you guys want to see or hear next. We appreciate any type of input or output, however you guys see fit. Um, and today's show, man, we're talking about basically why solitude is your superpower. So we're gonna get into that today later on in the show. But always we have to hit our two segments, the fit report, basically reacting to trending topics in the news, what's going on, what's not going on, giving my input on that, as well as our other segment, What the Fitness, basically reacting to different videos we see on fitness, health, wellness. It could be comedy, it could be serious, but just making sure there's a teaching lesson in each video. So we'll be covering that as well. And then obviously, the last and final topic of the day, the main event. The main event today, man, we are talking about why solitude is your superpower. And we will be breaking that down towards the end of the show. So you guys make sure you guys stick around until the end. So we got an hour to get all this stuff talked about and dialed in. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Please do not be a ninja watcher and just watching the show without doing any type of contributions. I am here to help you guys. So please, it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost you any money. It just costs one little measly click of that mouse to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys don't understand, man. I am a new YouTube channel. Okay. So I need all the help I can get right now. Right now, I'm getting my ass whooped. The algorithm is burying me in the algorithm. I can't get no love out here. So I need you guys to help me out, to hit that like button, to hit that subscribe button, to comment, do anything you guys can to help a brother out. Because right now, I'm getting crushed. I'm getting cooked. I'm getting filleted, sauteed, broiled, all that stuff. I need you guys to help me out while I build this channel up to where it needs to be at. So please, we appreciate you guys. All right, let me take a sip of this water. Ah, you dig. Anyway, um, anyway, man, let's get into the first topic of today. This first one is pretty much something we've been seeing a lot on social media, mainly pertaining to the women. So let's go ahead and see what is going on here. I know you guys have heard of the Nicki Minaj. What is it called, man? The high heel challenge. I'm guessing, is that what it's called? I know it's a high. I know it's after a song that she had a while ago. But let's go ahead and check this article out, see what they say. So the New York Post is saying warning over viral Nicki Minaj high heel challenge. Physical therapist reveals 3 steps to avoid getting hurt. Listen, so I know a lot of women out here do it for the gram, but just make sure you guys are being safe in the process. Because just like anything we've seen when it comes to different challenges, it always sometimes it don't end very well. It doesn't end well for you guys. So make sure you guys are keeping yourself safe and not doing anything stupid. But I will say this challenge does look very stupid. But let's continue. All right, so it says here, strike a pose and try not to eat pavement. TikTok is teetering on the edge thanks to the Nicki Minaj challenge, a viral trend that's got users strapping on stilettos and trying to defy gravity. Some pull it off, others end up with ice packs and bruised egos. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is basically what the challenge looks like. Um, it looks pretty stupid to me. That's just my opinion. This looks very stupid, very similar to many challenges that have been done in the past on Instagram. But let's continue reading. The stunt harks back to Nicki Minaj's 2013 music video for her song "High School." Okay, it was the song "High School." Okay, in which she can be seen perched poolside in sky high heels, crouching down low, with one leg crossed over the other. Now, TikTokers are taking the iconic stance to new extremes, striking it while balancing on traffic cones, champagne towers, garden hose, and even surfboards mid wave. But not everyone is sticking the landing. In a clip with more than 15.5 million views, creator Ashley Ray attempts to pose atop a stack of dumbbells only to topple and land flat on her behind. Is the video there? Okay, so this was Nikki during the video. I want to see where. Okay, is this the video? Damn, I want to see the video. I think these are just pictures, but I want to see if the video is actually there. Okay, that's just a picture. Damn, I want to see the video. I want to see this. This is actually funny. But all right, man. Look, this is very similar to the crate challenge that was done during COVID. I know you guys remember the crate challenge. The crate challenge during COVID, during 2020, might have been the dumbest challenge that I've seen next to the ice bucket challenge earlier in what was that, 2015, 2016, something like that. But man, we will do anything for some damn attention on social media. If that means walking on crates, if that means pouring a bucket of ice on us, if that means, you know, standing on some dumbbells and some stilettos, anything for attention, anything for the gram, anything for likes. People are incredible, man. I'm never gonna put my health at risk or my body at risk just to get some likes, man. Because half of y'all doing it don't even really have great balance anyway. So it doesn't end well, man. It really doesn't end well. You can try it. I'm not saying don't try it. Sure, it might be good for the gram, but ay, 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 man. I don't know. I don't know. Would I do it? I mean, obviously I wouldn't do it because I'm a guy, but just I've never participated in any challenges that I've seen on social media. I just think that it's fucking stupid. And quite frankly, it's just one, it's just dangerous. Some of these challenges are dangerous. And two, okay, we doing it for some likes, for some attention. We doing it to go viral. Like, what's the point in doing all this? Like, what do we get out of doing this? That's what I want to know. What is the point of doing this? What are we getting out of this? Maybe I'm just different. I don't know. I just whenever I post on social media, it's for a purpose. You know, um, hey, it's cool, man. Like, look, people do stuff that's trending all the time. I'm not against it. I don't hate on nobody that does it, but when it comes to you putting yourself in danger and harm's way, I'm not with that, man. I'm not with that. Not for social media. No way. Not for some likes. Maybe if you were getting paid for it, if you got paid for it, then maybe it'd be a different story. But 9 times out of 10, you're not getting paid for it. So it may not be the smartest thing in the world to do. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, let people live. Y'all do what y'all do. It is what it is. All right, let's move on to the next topic here. In the fit report, where we at with it, man? Let's get to okay, let's check out this. So this one says here your brain rewires itself every time you push through discomfort. Your brain has a built-in resilience circuit that strengthens every time you choose courage over comfort. New research reveals that facing challenges head on creates measurable changes in your prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, and emotional regulation networks. This isn't about willpower, it's about deliberately training your neural pathways like building muscle. Every difficult conversation, challenging workout, or uncomfortable situation you push through literally rewires your brain to handle future stress better. The science is clear. Resilience is trainable, and your next challenge is your next opportunity to upgrade your mental operating system. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. Yeah. Um, Look, man, you can train anything. It doesn't have to be just, your body. It doesn't have to be just your muscles. Like you can train your brain to battle discomfort. You can train your brain how to handle stress. You can train your emotions, how to handle certain situations. Like literally anything that has proper functions can be trained. So it doesn't just have to be you working out and trying to get stronger. It really can just come down to you just being able to tolerate something that your body isn't really used to, you know? So I definitely agree with every time you go through any type of stress or adversity, I definitely agree that it's training your brain to become stronger over time so that whenever something new arises or a new situation happens or you're facing new adversity, then you know how to handle it better than you would beforehand. You know, there's been situations where I look back now and I'm like, damn, how the hell did I get through that, man? But it was just been me going through years of constantly getting punched in the mouth, getting, taking losses, taking L's to the point where there's just certain things that don't even phase me anymore. Now, granted, I'm not saying that it doesn't bother me in the moment. Of course it does, but you definitely train your emotions, you train your body or just your mindset to not really stress over certain things anymore, you know? So I can definitely look back at certain things now that I've gone through in the past. And if they were to happen in today or right now, I can for sure say that, of course, it wouldn't be easy, but I'd be able to handle it a lot better than I would in the past, because whenever something new happens to you and you don't necessarily know how to handle it in that moment, but it takes it happening to you maybe once or twice or three times, for you to understand, okay, this is how I handle this. I know what to do now. And and it's not gonna phase me as much as it used to. So I definitely agree with that, man, for sure. All right, let's and this is why I always tell you guys, man, whenever you go through adversity, just understand that, man, like the old saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. This is that exact quote in real life. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So just take heed to that, man. All right, let's get to the next article here. We are running through the fit report pretty fast today. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, here we go. All right, so this one, it says science proves more muscle equals longer life. Who knew? All right, science just validated everything you believe about lifting. A massive analysis of 81,358 people followed for 14 plus years just dropped the ultimate truth bomb. People with low muscle mass had a 57% higher risk of death compared to those with normal muscle mass. This isn't correlation, this is a causation territory. But here's what blew my mind. If you're carrying extra weight with low muscle mass, your death risk jumps to 2.6 times higher. Body composition over body weight every single time. Every rep you're grinding, every protein shake you're chugging, every progressive overload session, you're literally extending your lifespan. This is longevity, science, and action. Your training isn't just about aesthetics anymore, it's about survival, and you're already winning. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always say this, man. Yes, you want to train to build muscle, you want to train to look good and feel good and all that stuff. That's the majority of reason why I train so hard. I train to feel good, to look good, but also you also have to weigh in and add in the health benefits. The more muscle you have, the harder it is for you to see an early death, right? Mainly because when your body is strong, when your body has muscle or muscle mass or high levels of muscle mass, it's very hard for diseases to come penetrate your body because your immune system is so strong. It's hard for things to penetrate, all those healthy cells that's in your body, that's in your muscles. So that's why I always stress to people, man, it's not always about just looking good and feeling good. You also got to look at the health benefits. Like, how long do you want to live? Do you want to live, to, uh, your 70s or whatever? Or do you want to live a healthy lifestyle as long as you can? Right. And we can all drop dead at any moment. Right. That's just how life is. Um, you can catch cancer even though you have a healthy body, but your likelihood of you catching cancer or any type of other diseases goes down drastically just because you're in great physical shape. This is why I always tell people, make sure you guys go get your blood work done. Make sure you guys go check your cortisol levels. Make sure you guys are getting routine checkups because you just never know. You just never know what's hiding, you just never know what's going on with your body. Even though you have, you know, even though you're working out every day, even though you're eating correctly, even though you're drinking enough water, still go get checked up. Still check your blood panel. Still check your cortisol levels. Make sure you guys are getting routine body fat testing. You just want to make sure everything is together. You want to make sure everything is in the right where it needs to be at, you know, because you want to be here for as long as you can. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Nobody wants to pass away early. Nobody wants to die of a heart attack at 50, right? Nobody wants to catch a stroke. No, we want to live long and healthy as we can. We want to enjoy life as long as we can in the healthiest body. so so just don't work out, man. Just, working out is great to look and feel good, but also do it for the health reasons. Always keep that in mind when you guys are in that gym session, man, busting your asses and, squatting down that fucking heavy ass weight and throwing up that goddamn bench press. Just understand this is for your health as far as long-term benefits. You're fighting to live at this point, you know. I'm not training for performance no more. I'm not training, to look good for the girls no more. I'm training for long-term health benefits. All the other shit is an add-on. That's a plus. I'm not even worried about that. That's cool. You know, I'm not worried about having uh shredded six-pack abs. Yeah, I got decent looking abs, but it's not how it was when I was 25. You know what I'm saying? But I was training more for vanity back then. I wasn't really training to, you know, but that's a whole different story. But the moral of the story is this, man. Just train for your health, train to look good, train to feel good, but also train for longevity. That's the moral here. All right, man. Let's move on to what the fitness. Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button. We going in today. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys are enjoying the episode, please leave a comment in the chat. We appreciate you guys as always. All right, man. Let's get on to the first video in What the Fitness segment. All right. So this man is talking about why are people so overweight? Let me refresh this real quick so we can get to the beginning. All right. So let's hear what this dude has to say. He's asking, why are people overweight?
Calories do you think is in this little thing? How many calories? This thing is tiny. It's literally one little bite. How many calories? And it's not a trick question. 130 calories in this little tiny thing, and there's 12 in a box. And we all know that one person is not just eating one. They're going to eat more. And someone like me, bro, I probably eat like 10 of them. And now this muffin. How many calories do you think is in this little muffin? Can't be too much, right? It's just a little tiny muffin. 540 calories. 540 calories in that little muffin. How about this little handful of M&Ms? How many calories do you think is a little tiny handful? It's just a little bit. It's not much. 140 calories in 12. 140 calories in 12 of these little M&Ms. And they're not doing nothing for you but making you want to eat more. Because as soon as you have 12, you're going to go back for another handful. People always ask, how did you get to almost 500 pounds? How do you get so big? How do people let themselves go? How does this happen? And honestly, it's not going to happen overnight. So if you do this every once in a while, this is not going to be a big factor. But this is something that is your everyday eating habits, and you don't even realize it. You're just eating, but you don't realize how many calories are really in what you're consuming. It can add up. And before you know it, it turns to a year. Just like that. If you're dealing with a food addiction to where you just always want to eat, you always have to have something, you're just always thinking about food, and these things are around you and you're just eating them, you can eat 2,000, 3,000 calories in one sitting and then feel like shit, but not feel full, not feel like you've eaten anything. What you want to do is eat more, and you end up eating more calories. And that's how you see people who are eating 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories. They're getting up to 500 pounds. And that's what I was doing. Most of my eating was coming from like little snacks, snacking, eating so many calories. That's saying, let me grab a little snack, and you end up eating a snack that's 4,000 calories. It's insane, but it happens. If you're not cautious of what you're consuming, that's how it can happen. All these snacks were on the job site when I came into work. Shout out to the homeowner. I appreciate it. But these are the type of snacks that if you eat these every day, you are going to put on weight, and there's no way around it. How many calories?
All right. Yeah, man. Listen, and there's so many different points in that video I want to break down, so I hope I can get to all of them. But let's start with this one. So he talks about how he's asking you guys how many calories are in that little cinnamon roll, how many calories are in that little handful of M&Ms. This is another reason why snacking is a big reason why a lot of you guys are gaining weight. Snacking is a big reason why a lot of you guys can't seem to wonder, why did I put on so much weight, or how did I put on so much weight? Taking a bite of this, taking a bite of that, taking a bite of this. You keep doing that throughout the day, you can easily put on 1,000 to 2,000 calories without even realizing, depending on the snacks that you're eating. Just one Oreo is what, 140 calories, maybe a little bit less than that. But imagine you eating a whole tray of that and not even realizing how many calories is in that just one tray. That's that is easily 1,000 calories. And the crazy part is, when you eat that whole tray, you're not even full. You feel like you can eat a second tray. Why is that? Mainly because food like that is processed, that is high in sugar and high in refined sugars, are not nutrient dense. What do I mean by not nutrient dense? Nutrient dense meaning it does not have the proper macronutrients and micronutrients in it to sustain you. So for instance, fruit, green vegetables, grains, these are nutrient dense foods. These are foods that have all the proper nutrition, vitamins that are going to sustain your body and make your body function at the highest level. Mainly because things like fruit, vegetables, and whole grains, they have high fiber. High fiber keeps you full throughout the day. That's why I always encourage people to make sure you're eating fiber first thing in the morning before you start your day. That way, you know, you're you don't have the desire to eat or snack throughout the day, right? Now you're not tempted to overeat throughout your day and consume and over consume calories. And this is very popular, or this is very prominent for people that do not track their calories. So when you're not tracking your calories, it's very easy to overeat. I broke down a while ago, you guys, in a different video a few weeks ago, how easy it is to put on 30 pounds of 30 pounds of fat in 3 years. Do you realize how easy it is to put on 30 pounds of fat in 3 years? That's 10 pounds a year for 3 years. And all you have to do really is every day you eat 100 calories over your maintenance. So, meaning if your maintenance level to maintain your body weight is 2,000 calories, if every day you're eating 100 calories, every day you're eating 2,100 calories, then you're eating 100 calories over your maintenance, and that adds up. That's 700 extra calories you put on for that whole week. Times that by 4, that's 2,800 calories. It only takes 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound. So you do that for 5 weeks. That right there is 3,500 calories. And you do that every 5 weeks. After a year, you don't put on 10 pounds. Do that for 3 years. That's 30 pounds. And it starts with just little things like just snacking on a handful of M&Ms, snacking on a few Oreo cookies, snacking on a few chocolate chip cookies, just little snacks, snacking on chips, taking a bite of this, taking a bite of that. It all adds up. And if you're somebody that has to have something sweet every time you eat a meal, you have a food addiction. You have addiction to sweets. If every time you have to eat something sweet after a meal, you have an addiction to sugar. Most people don't even realize that they do. If you have to have sugar every single time, every single day, if you got to eat sugar every single day after a meal, for a snack, man, you got a food addiction. You have a sugar addiction. And that is not something that's not something that you want to develop. That is a very dangerous thing to develop. We always talk about how, we always talk about drug addiction. We talk about alcohol addiction. But do we ever talk about sugar addiction? Do we ever talk about food addiction? These things are just as bad. Why do they always go under the radar? Why are they never talked about as much as the drugs, the alcohols, the gambling? We got to put food and sugar up there as well, man. That is just as important. That is just as dangerous. So make sure you guys, man, you understand what you're eating. Make sure you guys are eating nutrient dense foods. Make sure you guys are eating food that is going to keep you full throughout the day. That way you guys are not, you guys are not tempted to snack on this, snack on different things throughout the day, taking a bite of things here and there. Make sure you guys are starting your day off with fiber. All right. So that video was very insightful. It doesn't take that much to gain weight, man. It really doesn't. It takes a whole lot to gain weight. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot to gain weight, but it takes a whole lot to lose weight. So keep that in mind when you guys tend to snack on different things, tend to snack on refined sugars and processed foods, tend to snack on junk food. Just keep in mind that it takes, man, it doesn't take much to gain weight. It doesn't, but it takes a whole lot to lose weight. All right, man. Let's move on to the next video. See what we got here. Where we at with it? Where we at with it? All right, here we go. So this dude talks about Uh, see what this guy's talking about. Sore muscles, beat down, regulated metabolism every single time. Let's see what this guy says. All right.
So, do people who go to the gym every day just live their lives sore?
Yes. I'd rather be sore than obese.
So, do people who go to the gym every day just live their lives sore?
Yes. I'd rather be sore than obese.
So,
Yeah, man. Listen, there's always gonna be projection from people that are not in shape. There's always gonna be projection of what they're not doing from people that are always out of shape and look like shit and undisciplined and looking and sloppy looking. They're always gonna project their insecurities of what they can't do on you, right? That's just some normie talking point. Oh, do people that go to the gym every day, do they just live their life sore and tired all the time? Yeah. Yeah. That's because that's the life that we chose. We chose this life. You damn right. We chose to be sore every single day. We chose to be tired, you know. But guess what? I would take that every day over being out of shape. I would take that every day, not being able to see my Johnson. I would take that over having a double chin. I would take that every day over having man titties. I'll take being sore every day, all day. Because I know the other side is something I don't want no parts of. I don't want no parts of being fat or obese. I don't want no parts of that, dog. I'm good. You know, see the thing with people like this, right? People that say dumb shit like this, these are the main people that always take the easy route. See, it's easy. It's very easy to not do what is required. It's very easy to choose the path of least resistance. You know what's easy? Ordering a pizza, playing video games all day, smoking weed, not exercising, being a fucking bum. That is very easy to do. It doesn't take that much skill. But you know what's hard? You know what's very difficult? Waking up every day early, going to run, going to the gym, busting your ass in the gym, then doing cardio, right? Then having a full day of work while eating correctly and going home and sleeping at a decent hour. That's very, now do that every single day. How many people do you know that can really do that and keep that same routine for years on end? Not a lot of people. And we know it's not a lot of people based off of the obesity numbers that is in this country. The numbers are there. It's no secret. We can look up right now the population's, weight. Right now we can look up how fat we are as a population. So it's very clear that it's very clear that a majority of people take the path of least resistance. Mainly because humans are lazy. You would rather take the elevator than walk up 2 flights of steps. Like, it's crazy. You rather go pay extra for DoorDash than just hop in the car, go down the street to the restaurant and pick up your food. Nah, people are lazy, man. They want to do what's easy. They want to do what is the path of least resistance. And that's fine, but do not shame people that are in shape, that do the hard stuff, that choose discomfort over comfort. And now you see the results of that. You see that they have a nicer body. They have a better physique. You see that, they're in great shape. You see that people respect them better. You see that people treat them better. Yeah, don't hate now. Don't get mad now. They did the hard work. What did you do? sat on your fat ass, watch Love is Blind reruns. You watch Love Island. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do much. So don't come over here hating on the person that put the work in and now they're seeing the results of that work. So, this is just typical normie talking points from the average person, man. We don't even pay attention to that shit, you know. And they look how they look for a reason. So what are we even paying attention to them for? It is what it is. They're gonna 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be like that for the rest of their life. Just doing the easy stuff, always avoiding conflict, always avoiding hard conversations and tough situations, always looking for the easy way out. Listen, man, you can choose that type of life if you want. You can choose that life if you want. You can do what's easy now, but I tell you this right now, when you choose, and I always say this shit, when you choose upfront pleasure, it almost always leads to back end pain. Almost always. Choosing upfront pleasure, eating the fast food, excessive drinking, drug use, fast money. Guess what, man? That's going to lead to back end pain down the line. It may not happen right when you expect it, but it's going to happen eventually. And you're going to see it. Right? I'd rather just choose the path right now that's hard. I'd rather, man, just give me the upfront pain. I'll take it. Let me get my ass whooped early. Let me learn early so that down the line, I'm prepared. Down the line, I know what's expected. Down the line, I know what to expect. You know? I take L's all the time. I'm not worried about that. I'm learning in the process. I'm doing things right now that's outside my comfort zone. Because guess what? Once I get this shit down, I'm going to be a monster on the other side. Because I put the work in. I did what was hard first. You avoiding the hard work. Okay, well, guess what? Eventually, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it in some way that you may not be ready for. And it's going to happen when you least expect it. So, yeah, man, don't listen to people that talk shit about folks that are putting in the work and doing what's required. They're always going to have some shit to say. It's easy to talk shit when you're on the sideline. It's easy to talk shit when you're in the stands. I don't even pay attention to people like that. You don't have the balls to be in this seat. You don't have the balls to be in this lane to do what I do. You just don't. You ain't built like that. And that's fine. But stay in your lane. All right, man. Let's get to this last one here. We're making great time, man. Actually pretty early today, man. All right, let's get to this last one. Where are we at with it, man? Where are we at with it? And this one kind of ties into today's episode. All right. Let me refresh this up so y'all can see this. All right, what does this dude say? He says, master the art of being alone, and that will tie into today's main event. Let's check this out.
A lot of people can't even go out by themselves. A lot of people can't even go out to eat by themselves. I could go to a movie by myself. I can go out to eat by myself. I can go out bowling by myself. Rocking by myself doesn't bother me. You got to be all right with being by yourself, bro. You got to be all right with rocking by yourself. Bro, a lot of people can't even go out by themselves. A lot of people can't even go out to eat by themselves.
Yeah, man. A lot of people cannot do a lot of stuff by themselves. A lot of people feel like they need people to be with them in order for them to do anything in this world. The people that always need somebody by their side to do stuff, man, those are people that are very weak-minded and they constantly need validation. And it's very hard for them to really function without somebody, some type of validation or uh I guess energy around them. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people just need other people around them to get going. They need to be in social clubs and they need to be around other people. And I get it. That's cool. I'm not saying, just be an introvert on purpose, but you also got to learn how to be alone sometimes, man. And I was like that too. I always felt like I needed to be with people in order for me to do stuff. But then you realize that, man, you get so much done when you can do shit by yourself. You're not waiting on people, you know, you're on your own time. You can go here, go there, go there. You can get everything you need to get done in a decent amount of time and get back to whatever it is that you're doing. You're not worried about nobody else. And sometimes, man, that is the best way to live sometimes, man. I'm not saying that's all the time. Yes, it's good to have friends around you, but at the same time, man, it does help to know how to be by yourself at times. I have no problem going to the movies by myself. I went to the movies by myself yesterday. Yeah. I went to the movies by myself the last two times, really. And I rarely go to the movies because there just hasn't been any really good movies on lately. But man, I've been to the movies by myself the last 2, 3 times. And I've been cool with that. I go out to eat by myself sometimes. I go to places by myself because, man, just master the art of being alone, man. Is very powerful. It can get dangerous too, man. And I'm learning to have the balance because you don't want to get to a point where you're always by yourself. And now it's hard for you to function in around other people. And I don't have that issue because I'm always going to be very social from my job and how just the industry that I'm in is a very social industry. So I'm constantly forced to be around people and interact. So that's never going to be a problem. But if you're someone that doesn't interact with people a lot and you're always by yourself, now that could be very dangerous because you can lose your social skills. So you don't want that to happen. So I would suggest that yes, it's good to be by yourself at times and do things by yourself, but you also still want to have, a social life, have social skills, keep your social skills sharp, and just be on point. But yeah, man, sometimes it's okay to be alone. It's okay to do things by yourself, go places by yourself, you know. And if you haven't done that before, man, I challenge you guys to go ahead and do that. Go ahead and go to the movies by yourself. Go ahead and go eat by yourself. It's okay. You're not a loser. I know some of you guys think, oh, that's a loser. People gonna think I'm a loser. Bro, you're not a loser just because you go out to eat by yourself. Who cares? I do it all the time. I'm not a loser. I know I'm not a loser. But some of y'all care too much about what people think about you. I guarantee you strangers are not thinking that, yo, that guy's eating by himself. He's a loser. Bro, nobody cares, man. You care too much about what people think about you. And that's one thing you got to stop doing. Just one day out the week, man, just go to a restaurant by yourself or go to the movies, go to the mall. I don't know. Do something that you like doing by yourself. Because I guarantee you this, at some point, you're going to be by yourself any fucking way. So you might as well get used to it. Oh, yeah. And we'll get into that in the main event in a second. But yeah, just get used to doing shit by yourself because there's going to be a point in time where you will be doing shit by yourself. Anyway, man, let's get to the main event. We appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. We going in today, man. Today's been a great episode so far. But today's main event, man, tying into what we just talked about, why solitude is your superpower. Talking today about why being alone, man, is going to be more beneficial than harm. A lot of times we're always surrounded by distractions. We're surrounded by, people. We're so accessible. and that's not always a good thing. Being too accessible is not a good thing. That's one of the 48 laws of power, one of my favorite books in the world, right? Um, it talks about, I forgot the exact quote, don't quote me on it, but it just talks about how you lose power being too accessible. So there's power in, you know, letting people miss you. There's power in not always being available. There's power in popping up, sporadically. When people haven't seen you in a long time and they miss you, and there's power in that. And sometimes that is needed to build discipline, direction, and sometimes that's needed to build dominance. You need that, right? Solitude isn't optional. Sometimes it is required. Sometimes that is a requirement, especially if you are on a journey where you feel like you are starting over, right? You might be on a health journey. Hey, man, sometimes it's good to go ghost mode. Sometimes ghost mode is needed. Sometimes getting offline and kind of disappearing for a little bit, that is sometimes that's what you need. Because like I said, you're on social media a lot, you're on friends a lot, you're still going out. It's too many distractions. So how can you lock in and focus on what needs to be focused on when you're constantly around different energies, you're constantly around different people, different types of personalities, different conversations? How can you focus on what needs to be focused on? Right? So it's very important when you're in the building stages, when you're building something of value. Sometimes going ghost is the right thing. Sometimes just being alone for a little bit is the right thing. I'll tell you this, man. When I've started over in my business so many times, trying to restructure my business, trying to get things together. And there's been so many times, especially this time around, when I'm trying to start this podcast and revamp it, from what it was before. I had to really get off the gram, man. It came to a point in time where I just needed to just get off social media. I was off social media for like a month because at that point I had restarted everything. I felt like, where I was in life, I just didn't really want to have access. I just didn't want people to have access to me at that point. So what I did was I just got off social media. I got off social media for like, I would say 30 to 45 days. I was off that bitch. I was completely ghost mode. All I was doing was working on restructuring my business, um, putting this thing together, right? And just coming up with new ideas, new content strategies, and also just getting back in the swing of things, man. Just getting my mind right. Because it's very easy to get distracted and look at what somebody else is doing, maybe somebody else in your field, and you feel like damn, he's doing this, or damn, she's doing that, and you kind of start comparing yourself, man. And when you're in that building stage, it's very easy to get distracted and start looking at other people and start comparing yourself and just start feeling like you're not doing enough. So what I had to do, I just had to get off social media completely for like a month and a half, and kind of just go back to the drawing board, write down my goals, write down what I wanted out of life, and at that point just execute. At that point, it was me versus me. And I look back now from where I started about 6 months ago to now, man. I definitely have made drastic improvements in a lot of areas that I can say I'm very proud of myself. Obviously, I'm still not satisfied where I want to be at, but looking back where I was 6 months ago to now definitely is a major, major improvement. And sometimes, again, that is needed. Sometimes you might need that. I'm not saying you might need 6 months, but for me, I know I needed about 6 months, and I'm still improving. I'm still working on my shit. I'm still I'm still working on everything I need to work on. I'm a work in progress, you know, but I can say that I've gotten better over time and things have drastically changed, you know. It isn't where I want to be at yet, obviously, but we're headed in the right direction. And that's all I could ask for. But I wouldn't have gotten that had I not just went in complete isolation. So let's check this video out. It kind of touches on everything I just said here. So let's see what this video has to say. Let me refresh it real quick. Hold on.
Sometimes you got to disappear, improve, return, and shock everyone. You got to focus on you for once in your life. It's okay to go ghost for a little bit and worry about you. Focus on the goals and dreams that you have in your heart. Focus on everybody else. You helping everybody else, but now it's time for you to help yourself. And it's time for you to lock in. And I promise you, when you go ghost, when you disappear, when you work on yourself, you're going to show people what's possible. All right? It's not selfish to focus on you, because when you elevate, other people going to ask you, man, what did you do? How did you do it? That's more powerful than trying to put everybody on. You know, when we try to put everybody on and say, yo, join me on this, join me on that, sometimes they just not about it. Sometimes they just don't want to go to the gym. They're not as locked in as you. You got to be the leader, and you have to do it, and you might have to be a lone wolf for a little bit. But then when you come back, you're going to shock everyone. People going to ask you how you did it. People will be inspired, and you'll be able to have the blueprint to show your friends, family, and community what it means to really lock in, what it means to really be successful. But we have to be the living and breathing example. And it might be a lonely journey sometimes, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. So if you want to see yourself win and you want to see others win, take your own life serious first. Look in the mirror first. Finally focus on you. Lock in and shock the world, man. You got this. I love you. Keep going, and God bless you.
Yeah, man. Speaking facts. You know, in order to really help people, like I want to help people, I understand that I first have to lock in myself and get myself to where I need to be at. And that's continuing to just be consistent. That's continuing to, you know, put the work in, put out good information, put out good content for you guys. Because once you make it, man, once things start moving in the right direction, people are going to ask you, how did you do it? You know, how did you get here? How did you do this and do that? And rather than, oh yeah, I did X, Y, Z, you can just really share the blueprint, man. I just locked in. I just isolation. You know, I avoided people for a little bit. I kind of just got off the gram. I distanced myself from people, and I locked in at the task at hand. I just executed, you know, and that's really all it boils down to, man. It's all just execution and consistency. Those are the two ingredients for massive success, man. So once you have those two in your corner, then you can become unstoppable. But it just comes down to you eating shit first, man. Isolation is, yeah, sometimes it sucks, man. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you're gonna feel like you're missing out. Sometimes you're gonna feel like you're missing out on life, events, people, whatever the case is, man. But sometimes you got to remind yourself you're really not missing out on anything. All that shit is going to be there when it's time. When you're ready for it, all that shit is going to be there. The parties, the trips, the events, the relationships, whatever, all that shit's going to be there. It ain't going nowhere. But time is going somewhere. Your time is always on the move. Your time is running out. I'm not saying it's over, but you don't have time to mess around. You don't have time to play around with this shit no more. Especially if you're someone that's 30 plus, 30, 40. You don't have time to mess around no more, man. If there was a time to start, the time is now. The time is now. You don't have any more time to waste. That idea that you were thinking about 6 months ago, that you're still thinking about, you don't execute right now. Just do it now. Start now. You don't have time anymore to put things off. You don't have time anymore for I got a new idea. Bro, just execute. Just do it. If it fails, it fails. And then move on to the next one. I've had many ideas, but I guarantee you I've executed on 95% of them. Some failed, some didn't. Some I brought to life and it was very successful. And now I'm on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? So just stop putting shit off, man, and just execute. But sometimes that comes with you being by yourself. If you being by yourself is uncomfortable, you got a lot of work to do, man. You got a lot of work to do. You need to work on being more focused. Like I don't give a fuck if you feel lonely. Here's a truth bomb for you. Most guys are worried about when they lock in about being lonely. Here's a truth bomb. A majority of your life, you're going to be lonely anyway. Because guess what? If you don't rise to the occasion, you're going to be fucking lonely. You're going to be by yourself anyway. If you don't make something out of your life, I'm not saying you got to be rich and successful and drive a Lamborghini, but guess what? If you don't have a decent life, if you can't even take care of yourself, you're going to be by yourself anyway. So you might as well start now and work into that. You might as well do yourself a favor now and embrace it now so that over time you can enjoy the finer things. You can enjoy life the way you want to enjoy life. But you can't do that now if you're just wishful thinking. I got this idea, but I'm too afraid of what, bro. There's at this point we can't even live our life based off of what somebody else thinks. Not at this point, man. That's crazy. Let them talk. Okay, cool. They say he's trying too hard. Okay, they saying he's doing this and doing that. Bruh, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Execute, man. Just execute. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, move on to the next one. And maybe that one will. But you'll never know because you're not focused. Man, just being by yourself gives you more clarity. It gives you more focus. It builds discipline. It builds self-trust. And these are the components. These are the ingredients, man, to be unstoppable. You can be unstoppable if you have all these things in your corner. But you can't do that unless you lock in, kind of play the lone wolf for a little bit. Now, this isn't always everybody's case. Some people can do it in collaboration, right? Some people have groups of people that they can lock in with and team up with. That's different, but many of us don't have that privilege. A lot of us are going to be doing shit by ourselves. So you better embrace being by yourself now. Because if you don't embrace it now, you damn sure going to be by yourself later on. So master solitude, man. Master the art of the monk mode. Master just going ghost for a little bit until you feel like you've executed things and now you can get back on the gram again or back on socials and be social again. But when you're in that early stage, man, that is a must. You must lock in. Anyway, man, that's been today's episode, man. We appreciate you guys as always, bruh. Fire episode today. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys follow me on my socials down here, Winners Diet TV, Project Mac, all on my Instagram. You follow Project Mac on TikTok. All my links are in my description, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys as well. As always, we will be back next week. And just follow us on the gram, on socials for all the content just coming out. And we appreciate the support, man, nonetheless. So we'll see you guys again next week. Peace.